Hello everyone, movie recap here. Today we are going to recap Black Widow. Natasha Romanoff, a member of the Avengers and a former KGB spy, is forced to confront her dark past when a conspiracy involving her old handler arises. Spoilers ahead. Ohio 1995 young Yelena Belova scratches her knee while joking with Natasha Romanoff, her adopted sister. Melina Vostokov, their mother, who attends to the wound, is where they go. Later, Melina is informed that they must leave by father Alexei Shostakov, who returns home. The SHIELD agents pursue the girls when they are taken to a hangar where they are getting ready to board a plane. While Melina struggles to move the aircraft, Alexei fires at them. Alexei must hang on the wings since she has been shot. Natasha must move forward and assume the controls. Before taking off, they are successful in making the agents crash all over the place. As Alexei meets with a man named Dreykov, Melina receives medical attention after the group of 4 arrives in Cuba. When the troops in the area attempt to capture the girls, Natasha steals a weapon from one of them to protect Yelena. The men comment that the girl has courage, and then sedate both girls before removing them in a truck. A montage of kidnapped girls, including Natasha, Yelena, and numerous others, being brought to the Red Room for severe treatment and training throughout their lives to become formidable Black Widow operatives is shown. Natasha is on the run after breaking the Sokovia Accords 21 years later. She is in a building as General Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross and his men close in. Natasha makes it plain that she will not be leaving peacefully despite Ross's attempts to speak with her. Ross can't catch up to her since she manages to flee. Yelena has her sights set on Oksana in Morocco. Yelena spots Oksana and starts to go after. Yelena fatally stabs Oksana in the stomach after they fight. She follows that by spraying Yelena in the face with crimson dust, a man-made crimson gas that seems to release Yelena from mental control. She becomes aware that she recently murdered a close friend. Yelena retrieves the remaining gas and takes the tracker out of her body. When Yelena's signal is lost, Dreykov learns of this and sends Taskmaster, his super assassin, to the scene. In Norway, Natasha relocates to a safe home where she meets her contact, Rick Mason, who provides her with whatever she requires, including passports. She also receives a strange box. Later that evening, Natasha runs out of fuel and goes to obtain some, but Taskmaster ambushes her on the bridge as she is about to return. Natasha tries to fight the killer, but Taskmaster can imitate motions and is quick to save themselves. Before Taskmaster threw Natasha down the bridge, she had already taken hold of the box he was trying to grab. Natasha discovers that it is red dust and that it contains images of her and Yelena as youngsters. In order to locate Yelena in her own safe house, Natasha travels to Budapest. They fight until they agree to a truce, at which point they practically strangle one another. Natasha is informed by Yelena about the red dust and its effects as well as the fact that the Red Room is still operational, despite Natasha's mistaken belief that it was destroyed when she allegedly killed Dreykov. Just before many Black Widows pursue them, Yelena makes mention of Dreykov's daughter. Natasha must shrug one widow off as she falls to the ground while the two flee the structure and topple a tower. Just before Dreykov has the widow commit suicide, the widow informs Natasha that he is pressuring her into doing this. Taskmaster appears as Natasha and Yelena attempt to flee and follow them through the streets. They rob a car and speed off, but Taskmaster shoots an explosive arrow that causes the car to crash into the subway. Taskmaster pursues Natasha and Yelena as they flee, trailing a trail of blood from Yelena's arm. However, the two are able to veer Taskmaster's course as they hide. Yelena mentions how Natasha thought she killed Dreykov in order to work for SHIELD at the expense of his daughter Antonia while tending to her injured arm. When Antonia walked into the building, she was standing guard outside his office. Despite Antonia being present, Natasha responded, yes, when asked if they were authorized to execute Dreykov. As a result, the building exploded, killing Natasha. Natasha has had trouble sleeping ever since. Yelena talks about the phony family they had and the training they threw as Natasha gathers supplies and buys drinks while reflecting on the past. They are aware that they require assistance if they are to successfully depose Dreykov and the Red Room. Rick gets in touch with Natasha once more, and he gets a plane for her and Yelena. While arm wrestling other prisoners and regaling them with tales of his time as the Red Guardian, the country's first and only super soldier, Alexei, has been incarcerated. He claims to have engaged in combat with Captain America, but another prisoner thinks he's lying, and Alexei punishes him by breaking his hand. As Natasha and Yelena fly over the facility, the alarms sound. Alexei escapes the building using his incredible strength, but the guards pursue him and attempt to shoot down the jet. Yelena throws a grenade into a tower as Natasha descends and fights the guards. The building gets buried by an avalanche as a result, but Natasha is able to save Alexei. She and Yelena aren't especially pleased to see them, though, because he and Melina lied to them when they were young. When they inquire as to where Dreykov might be, Alexei replies that Melina might know. The three crash land in the vicinity of a farm where Melina is mind-controlling pigs. She meets up with her former fictitious family, and Alexei begins to overtly flirt with her, which makes Natasha and Yelena uncomfortable. Even trying to put on his previous Red Guardian uniform, he finds it difficult to do so because of his weight gain. The atmosphere at the table becomes strained as Natasha asserts that nothing from their history is true. Yelena starts crying because she thought their family really existed. Later, Melina tells Natasha that her biological mother was actively looking for her before Dreykov had her murdered. Alexei tries to be a father figure to Yelena at the same time, but she is still too upset with him. That is, until he performs American Pie, which was her favorite song when they lived in Ohio. After being called by Melina, Dreykov's agents show up shortly after that. Before being removed, they take down Natasha, Yelena, and Alexei. The party makes its way to the Red Room, which is hidden away in an aerial base. Melina is taken to Dreykov, but it turns out that she is Natasha dressed as Melina. This was a component of a scheme she staged with Melina back at the house, with Melina occupying Natasha's position in the cell since she is familiar with how to unlock the doors so that she and Alexei can escape. Before Melina uses an earphone to communicate with Yelena and tells her about a blade she can use to liberate herself, Yelena is about to have her skull severed. Dreykov also tells Natasha a number of things in the meantime. He has first fortified himself with a scent that deters attackers from approaching him. Then he displays Taskmaster, who is actually Antonia, who was disfigured by the explosion but survived. Her father has her mind controlled to become the ideal super soldier. The files of all the girls he has mind-controlled from around the world are then displayed to Natasha. Melina blows up an engine in the Red Room when she is approached by security personnel, sending many guards flying and setting the entire complex rolling toward the ground. Until Melina helps Alexei lock Antonia in one of the cells, after breaking her nose against Dreykov's desk to block out the pheromone as advised by Melina, Natasha proceeds to attack Dreykov. As he flees, he recruits more widows to assault Natasha, but Yelena sends the red dust to the area, causing the room to explode and freeing the widows from their mind control. Despite admitting she will pursue her, Natasha tells them to leave and stops to rescue Antonia from her cage. Everyone must leave the Red Room to escape as it begins to fall apart even more. Being unable to wait for Natasha and Yelena, Alexei and Melina make their getaway. Dreykov and his security guards board their escape vehicle, but Yelena steals electric batons and inserts them into the ship's turbine, setting off the explosion that kills Dreykov and the security guards. Yelena is launched by the impact, but Natasha leaps to her aid and gets there just in time to provide her with a parachute. When they touch down, Antonia catches up to Natasha and engages in combat with her. She is released from her father's grip when Natasha opens her helmet and sprays her with red dust. Yelena, Alexei, Melina, and the other widows welcome Natasha and take Antonia in for treatment. As Ross and his team begin to move near the spot, Natasha says goodbye to her previous family. After 2 weeks, Natasha meets up with Rick once more because he has gotten her a jet and she now has blonde hair. She will assist in freeing the other Avengers from jail so that she can rejoin her second family. Scene after credits, the year is 2024. Following Natasha's sacrifice in Endgame, Yelena visits Natasha's cemetery with her brand new dog. Contessa Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, who now employs Yelena, arrives as she is grieving for her sister. She offers Yelena a file on Hawkeye, who she believes to be the one responsible for Natasha's passing. We really hope you enjoyed today's recap of Black Widow. Please leave a comment below on what you loved about the movie and why. Be sure to like the video and please don't forget to support our channel by subscribing so you don't miss any amazing content. Until next time, lights, camera, action. We look forward to seeing you in our next video.